Y'all, I came across yet another how to get clear skin in a month video, and since y'all seem to like the last reaction video, here we go. Now, again, let me remind you, this is a learning environment, so don't be throwing shade, sending hate, any of that in the comments. However, we do need to talk about this, so keep watching. This video comes from the channel Naturally Simora, and honey, niece has some of the smoothest, prettiest skin I've ever seen. She uploaded this video in 2019 and she also did an update in 2021. We're gonna talk about both. Let's get into it.
What is that?
Hello everybody, I'm back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be showing y'all how to remove dark spots. Alright, so first you want to add a tablespoon of baking soda and pour that in. Next, what you want to do is you want to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. Just squeeze the lemon like that and then pour that in. And then the last thing you're going to be adding is some honey, and that's also a tablespoon. And you're just going to mix all of that together. Once everything was mixed together, I just placed it all over my skin, and now I'm going to be telling y'all the benefits of each one of these products. Okay, so first, baking soda is a good exfoliator and it helps shrink the size of pores. It prevents dirt and other particles from clogging. It's an antibacterial. So baking soda is really good if you want to reduce pimples and acne, period. Lemon gives your skin an even tone, and it also tightens your face and gives it a smoother feel. Lemons really help remove dark spots because it removes dead cells that can clog your pores, and the dark spots are mainly under your skin. That's why it takes so long to get out, and what the lemon does is pretty much pulls it out. Honey also prevents acne because it's an antibacterial. It's really great for slowing down aging. That's why you know I look 12 and I'm 21, and it's very moisturizing. The honey balances out the lemon because the lemon will really dry your skin out. So I suggest y'all not to just put straight up lemons on your face.
All right, so here's the thing with the baking soda, the lemon, and the honey, because I can already feel y'all in the comments like, fire and brimstone. Now, technically, these ingredients together, combined, all three of them, can possibly help the skin. Not everybody's skin, and I don't advise going to use household ingredients for, your skincare products, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, in the video, but it can help with some people's skin. And I would like to point out that I said possibly, some, technically, them kind of qualifying words, because sometimes y'all don't be listening with comprehension. We gonna work on that together, because we cannot grow together on this channel if we're not, listening and understanding with comprehension. On its own, I would never put baking soda or lemon on their own on my face. Honey, depending on what I'm eating, if I got a little on the side of my chin, I might, I might kind of do that. I would not use these on these own. I mean, personally, me, I wouldn't use them mixed together in a mask like she did, but we're gonna talk about that. The thing is, you gotta look at the pH scale. Baking soda is very basic, and no, I don't mean it drinks pumpkin spice lattes and wears, the traditional, Ugg boot. I mean that it is very high in the basic side of the pH scale. Now, when you have something that's too basic and you look at the pH of skin, that's something that could actually harm the skin. It can dry it out. It can cause irritation, and you already know from watching this channel that irritation can lead to inflammation that can lead to hyperpigmentation. As opposed to the baking soda, the baking soda is really basic. The lemon juice is really acidic. Using it alone over time, heck, it'd be that one time for some people, can really irritate that skin. And again, you already know irritation can lead to inflammation that can lead to hyperpigmentation. So you out here thinking you're curing your dark spots, but you're really kind of making it worse if you're just going to use that lemon on its own. Honey is a humectant, which we know the skin loves. However, household honey, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Mixing these three together, the baking soda, the lemon juice, and the honey, mixing them all together is not necessarily bad. I mean, it's not necessarily good either. I personally do not recommend that you do DIYs when it comes with your skincare. However, sometimes it can feel like, you know, certain products can be out of your reach, whatever life stage you're in, you know, your budget and whatnot. However, if a DIY goes bad, that can wind up costing you way more money than, you know, what you save by, you know, not buying the affordable dark spot treatment, which I am going to give you a couple, you know, towards the end of the video, so hold tight. Now, another thing I want to quickly add when it comes to the DIY. Now, you might be like, well, Danielle, they have some of these ingredients listed in our skincare. Like, they advertise that, you know, this has baking soda and this has citric acid and blah, 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 right? But here's the difference, right? The difference is they have cosmetic chemists who have degrees, receipts, years of training, lots and lots of receipts that they know what they're doing when it comes to, you know, putting together a skincare product. They not just out here all willy-nilly talking about, throw a little of that, throw a little of this, da-da-da. They actually have processes that they go by. They also test the products out. They test it under certain conditions, you know, so on and so forth, right? Now, I ain't trying to knock what you might have going on in your kitchen, right? And I ain't trying to knock your educational background, because I don't know what your background is. But I am willing to bet the average person does not have the cosmetic chemistry background to kind of really understand what you're putting into these concoctions. Because what if you have to put a certain part of something and a certain part of something else and maybe a certain part of something else? Like, do you know that? Do you know what part? I don't know. Do you? Also, are you gonna make this each and every time you do your skincare? Because otherwise, like, are you gonna put some preservative in it? Like, how do you keep the product from separating and from, you know, moving around and all that other stuff? So this is why I personally don't advise you to do the, you know, the DIY with the skincare.
Once I was done letting the product sit on my face, I got a warm towel and just washed it off gently.
In the last reaction video that I did, someone had commented about, like, why is she washing around the edges, because she had, you know, her hair swooped down and slicked and looking cute. Now, I said to that person, I'm like, you wouldn't believe that a lot of the stuff that content creators we do for the aesthetics purposes. In real life, people do the swoopity swoops, and, you know, they make sure that the edges are laid and stuff like that. And it's like, why can't they? Like, life is meant to be lived. You know, put the swoops down, you know, slick those edges or whatever. There are things that you can do to kind of like gently cleanse around that without having to like splash a bunch of water around your edges. Like, one of my favorite things to do is to use a micellar water and a cotton pad, douse that cotton pad with the micellar water, and then gently make sure that, you know, I get around my edges so I can clean around them without, you know, having a whole bunch of, you know, messing up my hairstyle and whatnot. However, when that style is done, I definitely make sure that I'm giving myself a good cleanse, and I may not do that style all the time as well. So yeah, we do need to take after our skin and you know, be mindful of things, but we also need to live, darling.
The last thing I put on my face is some olive oil. Olive oil is very good because it fades scars. Really not that bad.
Does have amazing skin benefits, and if you remember, like, the whole olive oil scandal with Jennifer Lopez saying that she doesn't do Botox or anything like that, and that olive oil is like the secret to her beautiful skin, like, you can look at videos from back then about that if you want some more tea. But olive oil does have some good skin benefits. It has antioxidants which help to protect us from the environmental damage and the gunk that's in the air. It also helps to reduce transepidermal water loss, which in layman's terms basically means, you know, the skin has a hard time holding on to the hydration that it desperately needs. And us folks of color, we suffer from transepidermal water loss exponentially. You know, some may say that transepidermal water loss is the scientific term for ashiness. Now back to the olive oil. It can be a great moisturizer for some people. For some people, it can be the worst thing they've ever put on their face because it can clog the pores, and then if you're acne prone, that can, you know, cause some issues for some people. Now myself personally, I would just use a product that is specifically, that was kind of hard to say, but a little bit, specifically formulated for the skin that offered those same benefits, because the food grade stuff, the stuff that's in your cabinet, it might be okay, but you don't really know, because those things are tested for you to ingest them, and something ingested versus something that's put on your skin can be a little different depending on what it is. Now, this might have just been her nighttime routine. I didn't hear her make any mention of sunscreen at all in this video. It's not even a very long video. Didn't hear any sunscreen in there. The thing with sunscreen, and I gotta be reminding, every time I get up on here, when it comes to the sun, you got the UVB, aka the burning rays, which I think people always only think about those. Now, as people of color, our darker pigments do protect us from burns more than our white counterparts. However, we can and do burn. I have burned while I had sunscreen on, but my silly behind fell asleep on the beach in Barbados, but we can and do burn. However, UVA wants to tap into this conversation. UVA, aka the aging rays, these account for about 89% of the premature signs of aging. And guess what? They worsen pigmentation. UVA along with visible light. Visible light comes from the sun, but it can also come from our devices. And all of this is cumulative, because people will be like, oh, I'm just going outside for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, this, that, and the third. First of all, you're lying. Well, not that you're lying. I ain't gonna call you a lie. I love y'all. Sometimes we grossly underestimate how much UV exposure that we get, but also the UVA can come through the window. It can come through the window. It can penetrate the window. So whether you're inside, you're in your car, you still want to protect yourself with some sunscreen. Put the sunscreen on, okay? Now let's watch our update video.
Skincare routine. I hope y'all enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I start off by using Cerave Daily Facial Cleanser. I love this cleanser because it leaves my face really soft and feeling healthy. It takes all of the oil, dirt, makeup off, and it doesn't irritate my skin at all. And make sure you don't rub your face too hard, and use a white towel because you don't want any extra dyes from the colored towels.
First of all, she's so damn cute and her skin looks absolutely amazing. So whatever she's doing is definitely working for her. It's just not something that's gonna work for everybody. I personally don't love the Cetaphil cleanser that she's using for me. I find that cleanser, it's nice if you have dry, sensitive skin. As you can see, it didn't really lather, and sometimes for some people, that lathering can be a little bit drying because of the surfactants that are used. So this uses more of the gentle type of surfactant. You're not seeing a ton of lather. And she's using it with the cleansing brush. Now, cleansing brushes, they're not always bad. I used to use a Clarisonic, but I would use my Clarisonic maybe 2 to 3 times a week tops. Sometimes I would take a break for a week and not use it at all. They would say that the cleansing brushes are gentle enough to use daily. I didn't find that to be so with me, so I definitely didn't use a cleansing brush daily. Now, the thing is, the cleansing brush does count as physical exfoliation because you've got the bristles and it's going around your face. Also, when you are washing your face with a towel, that's also counting as physical exfoliation. Heck, it counts as physical exfoliation when you're manually washing your face with your hands. So just be mindful at how much of the, physical as well as the chemical exfoliation that you do, because it can add up and it can wind up impairing your skin barrier. For some people, just like they can throw a hand grenade at their skin and they're fine. But for other people, if you go on it, it can be really sensitive and react. So just be careful with your skin.
Step number 2 is witch hazel. I do not do this every day because I already have dry skin. I do it twice a week, but I like to do this just so I can tighten up my pores on my nose and just everywhere around. So boom, here's my pure facial steamer. I really love this. It has so many benefits, such as promoting circulation. It hydrates my skin. Y'all see how hydrated my skin is. It soaks in all the moisture. It's just so many benefits. Y'all need to get y'all one. Also, I'll put a link to everything in the bio. And I also have a business called Simora Collection where I sell designer do-rags and bonnets. Shop with me.
I love this girl. I don't even know her and I love her. Okay, so witch hazel. Witch hazel can be a source of contention on the skincare internet streets. Now, here's the thing with witch hazel. it can be beneficial in a very specific routine, and sometimes in that very specific routine for a very specific time, okay? Some good things about witch hazel: it has anti-inflammatory properties, so it can kind of help to calm your skin. It also contains antioxidants, again, which are the things that help to protect us from the gunk that's out there that's just coming for our skin during the day. But witch hazel also contains something called tannins, which help to kind of, you know, for lack of a better term, degrease the skin, which can sound really tempting if you have oily skin and you're like, yo man, I can't take this oil, I need to degrease, right? And it can also help to minimize the look of pores. It doesn't actually minimize the pore, it actually minimizes the look. Now, I wouldn't call witch hazel good or bad. It's really gonna depend on the formulation. So what else is in it? Is it just witch hazel and a bunch of other drying ass things that just like sizzle in your skin? Or does it also have some really hydrated types of ingredients in it to kind of balance that out? It really depends. It also depends on the person's skin and the person's life situation. Now, I have oily skin. I've had oily skin probably my whole life, right? However, the oily skin that I have now, it's not as oily as it was when I was in my teens and my 20s. You know, as we tend to age, you know, the skin can kind of dry out a little bit. So if I were to use some sort of like witch hazel back when I was in my teens and 20s, that might have been appropriate then, but at this big age, about to be 41, probably not a good idea for me to use on a regular basis. Another instance, say I was still in my teens and my 20s out there popping my you-know-what out on the streets, right? Now, it would make sense for me to use a witch hazel if I have really oily skin. I'm looking to kind of degrease things and, you know what, trying to, you know, just maintain, balance my skin, right? However, back then I still lived in New York City and we still had cold, dry winters. We had the coldest winter ever. Back then, using something like a witch hazel in cold, dry weather could have been problematic for my skin because the skin's already dealing with the cold, dry elements, and then I'm putting something on it that can further dry out my skin. So witch hazel, like, you know, like other things in skincare, it really depends on your skin, the formulation, and your life stage. Now the thing is, she said she had dry skin, but she also said she doesn't use it often, so she's probably doing a good thing there. I don't think that this might be something that, you know, maybe 5 years from now, probably definitely not 10 years from now, that she would want to still use on her skin, but who knows. Now, the steamers, people love steamers, right? And I'm not gonna come for them because, again, they're not inherently bad. You just want to be careful though, because you don't want to have the steam up too high. You don't want to burn your skin because, you know, the burning of the skin can lead to issues, irritation, inflammation, hyperpigmentation. You know, it always kind of gets down to that. You know what I'm saying? I don't personally think that I would put witch hazel on and then go use a steamer. Like, I would probably wash my face, you know, maybe add something hydrating on my skin, steam, and then add the rest of my products. But I don't know, that's me. What do y'all do? Let me know in the comments. And we also love a young entrepreneur, so bravo sis.
Once I'm done steaming my face, I like to air dry it. And y'all, don't forget to drink water. Drinking water is very good. You need to stay hydrated. Last but not least, I like to add Aquaphor Healing Ointment. I swear, y'all, this ointment right here changed my life. If you have dry skin or really just anything, get this for real, for real. And the last thing I want to say is, if you have really bad acne, do not feel bad about it. It comes, it goes. Baby, you're still cute at the end of the day, and that's all that matters.
Now, a couple of things. One, I would have loved to have seen her put the Aquaphor on while her skin was still a little bit damp, because that just locks it in it. Locks in that hydration. Your skin will absolutely love it. I'm not quite sure if this was a daytime or a nighttime routine. At first I was like, oh, it's a nighttime routine because she's got the bonnet on. But I think this was a daytime routine because she took the bonnet off and, you know, ended the video. So who knows? I still would have liked to have seen our niece talk about using sunscreen during the day though. I absolutely love the positive messaging she had around your skin. Like, even if you have acne, you have dark spots, you're still cute. I absolutely love that, because people can be so hard on, either people are really hard on themselves when they have skin issues, or people are like so mean to people who have skin issues. Like, listen, chill. Let's be like kinder to each other. You can live a whole free life doing amazing things and you can still have acne and dark spots. It's like, the two can coexist. Now, I will say, this is a routine that works for her, right? I would love to see her wearing some sunscreen, because you know, how many of us out there wish that we started wearing sunscreen a lot earlier? You know, y'all let me know that in the comments. Hopefully she is using a sunscreen now in her routine. So when it comes to DIY skincare, you're not gonna win me over with the DIY skincare. Also, not to mention, I'm pretty sure cosmetic chemists aren't going down to the Piggly Wiggly, the ShopRite, or wherever to get the ingredients for these skincare products. Now, can you get rid of dark spots in under a month? It depends. If they're newer, fresher dark spots, you may be able to see, you know, some significant change at the 3 to 4 week mark, depending on, you know, what you're using, making sure that you're being gentle and all that other stuff so that you're not irritating your skin as to cause further hyperpigmentation. But typically it does take 8 to 12 weeks to see improvement, and you have to be consistent in that time. For some of the older spots though, that can be harder to treat at home. It can take a lot longer, and then in some instances you may need to have a Skin of Color pro step in and come through with some treatments for your skin. And even then, it can still take some time and a series of treatments in order to really clear it. But it's always worth it to at least try a routine at home. And if you're looking for some affordable dark spot treatments, a couple that I think you should look into, the Ambi Skincare Fade Cream. Now that does have 2% hydroquinone, which to my knowledge, they said you can't get this over the counter anymore. You have to get it by prescription, but I'm guessing that whatever's still out can be out. But it's been a minute, them products are still out. The thing with hydroquinone, it gets a bad rep, but the thing is, it's not something that is meant to be used long term. You want to take a break in between, so 2 months on, 2 months off. Another option that contains 2% hydroquinone, the Alpha Skincare Spot Lightening Treatment. Now some of these things got some unfortunate names, but you know. However, again, 2 months on, 2 months off. It's not meant to be used as a long-term solution, because if you use it long-term, you can run into quite a number of issues that are really, really hard to reverse. You can have something called ochronosis, which you don't want to get it to that point, so don't be using that mess long term. Now for some hydroquinone free options, there's the Specific Beauty Dark Spot Treatment. This was developed by a Black dermatologist. I will link this in the description box along with the others. And Neutrogena has a stubborn mark treatment that you use at night. I will link to these below, but also we talked about these in a recent affordable dark spots routine video. So, you know, if you want a little more tea, you know, check that out. Now again, this is a learning experience here. So let me know some things that you learned from this video. We want to keep this a very positive and learning experience. No shade, no hate, none of that. I mean, if you can leave it, if you can try and leave it if you want to, but my assistant's gonna be up in there like, delete, right? And lucky for you, I already did an affordable dark spot skincare routine video, which I'm gonna leave you with here. Now that goes from morning routine, from when you wake up, to your nighttime routine when you're going to bed. So make sure you check that out, and I'll see you fine folks in my next one. Bye guys.